Not at this moment.
What
he
are
maybe
they
could
gonna
in the
have him
future.
put on in the slime on his back?
He maybe could in the future. You never know.
It's
you
true.
know, never say never.
That's true.
So now all of a sudden Darius
Now
smells...
he has a bionic uterus.
I don't know. Now all of a sudden his bionic arm came equipped with a uterus.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah. So
that's not a bicep, that's my son.
No. Hey, how's it going today?
Doing great.
Today we're going to talk about this science fiction book that I don't know if you've ever heard of, but it's called Earth's First Starfighter.
I believe I have heard of
by
this.
Han Yang.
Han Yang, yeah.
So this is an action-packed sci-fi adventure, and I may have taken too many notes. Yeah, because there was a lot going on.
A bit, yes.
So your one-sentence summary of this book, in case you want to not listen to our spoiler-filled review that we're going to do right now, and you want to go read it first. This book is about this talented pilot on Earth. There's an alien force that comes and breaks into the Earth's atmosphere and basically comes and takes over Earth. And so then he becomes a starfighter, and then all these missions and adventures start. What was wrong about how the aliens came in and took over Earth?
Well, so they're more described as merchants.
But they were like controlling everything.
Yeah, they controlled everything, but through commerce.
So much so that the people called them slavers.
Yeah.
Okay, well anyway. So that was my take on it. So that's your one sentence review. This book has comedy, adventure, excitement, romance. Not too much technical description, which is my preference. So if you have been following our podcast, you'll know we have reviewed 2 other space opera kind of books.
Who keeps picking those?
Well, this is my favorite one so far because it has romance. The other 2 didn't have any.
Oh, you like romance? Okay.
And I mean, it doesn't need to have it, but it makes it more interesting for me. So, as far as hated it, liked it, or loved it, where were you?
I would say I was definitely above liked, but I'm not sure I hit loved.
Okay. I'm just liked, but it's definitely not meh. I enjoyed it.
So I have to say, like, for the first, I don't know, 30 chapters, I was just chuckling the whole time because it was just a fun cosmic ride.
Yeah, it's comedy. The guy's very, like, there's all this crazy stuff happening, but he's very matter of fact, and you're just like, okay, you take a lot in stride, bro.
Yeah, Darius from Tennessee is very down to earth, Southern boy.
Okay, so like I said, I took a lot of notes, so I'm going to go ahead and start.
You jump right in there.
We listened to this book on Audible, but, you know, you may enjoy picking up a paper copy of it.
Which, by the way, I believe it just came out in March, so it's a rather new book. So
yeah, we recommend
highly.
Okay, so we're gonna begin. It is 2032, and we're in Tennessee.
That's not too far away.
No, and there's a golden rip in space, and an alien spaceship the size of a new moon appears. And this is what Darius sees. The Iglax is the name of the alien nation or species.
Yes.
They say they come in peace. Darius, that's our main character's name, Darius.
From Tennessee.
He sells his dad's lacrosse sticks to the aliens, and the aliens paid off his dad's loan plus $50 million.
Was it 50?
That's what I took from that.
Okay. Yeah,
it's actually a little bit more complicated. He sold the sticks, and then he got like more, and then sold and more and more, and he was accumulating all this raw material that the Iglax wanted, and they gave him a whole bunch of money. So basically, galactic monetary values are like way higher than on Earth.
Yes.
So one of the reasons the Iglax came to Earth is because they figured out that they could basically have slave labor practically. They could pay the humans so little compared to what you make in space.
Yes.
Darius has a pilot's license. And Iglax are about 4.5 feet tall and covered in blue fur.
Blue fur.
They basically look like Smurfs, is what they said, without using the word Smurf.
Yeah, kind of.
And they mainly want to trade. That's pretty much all they want to do.
Yes.
Darius trains on simulators to prepare to train for 6 months to take an alien test to be a space pilot. And, like, no humans have passed the test before.
Nope.
At the testing center, he has to get into this tank of goop and sensors attached to his body. But, like, from this point on, he's just... Actually, no, from the part where they rip a hole in this guy, he's just like, yep, okay. Next thing he's like, oh, I'm getting in a tank full of goop. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He's very, like...
Chill.
Yeah, he says through the thing that he has a hard time sometimes making friendships because he doesn't have very much highs or lows to his personality or his excitement level, which is definitely the case, but it doesn't make him boring. He just doesn't get excited super easily.
Yeah.
During the test, he has to do, like, 4 different things. He has to fly, like, 4 different kinds of ships. He has to land a large freight ship into a hangar. Next, he's in a clunky mining ship. He has to reach Point Kilo in 3 minutes or less. He flew as fast as the miner would allow through an asteroid field. On to the next task, go twice as far without any more time allowance. So now they're checking to see his speed and maneuverability.
Yes.
Then bandits appear. He's just like super chill. He's just like, yep, whatever, okay, this is happening, good. And they're setting this up to be like, this is what you need to be a good pilot. You can't let stuff frenzy you. Next task, sleek fighter and has to enter a battle. He's kind of a cowboy. Like, he sees what he should do, but he's like, I want to do this instead. And then the test is over. The test administrator's name is Frank, and he thinks Darius cheated because Darius scored a 97.5. So no humans had scored over 90, and I think you had to get 88 or 90 to get in.
It said you had to have at least an 80, and they would rent you a minor ship. But because he scored a 97.5...
He got everyone's attention.
He got everybody's attention.
Yeah. So
especially Rose.
So he's taken to go meet an ancient alien lady named...
Rose.
She commends his decisions in the test and his talent. Rose admits they came to strip mine the Earth.
Yep, taking it all.
So what's strip mining again?
So strip mining is where you basically take anything of value out of the Earth. So like I'm sure you're kind of familiar from California with where they utilize like the hose where they would spray water at things. Okay, never mind. Where I'm from, they had plenty of strip mines, and basically they would dig down into the earth, take out all the coal, take out all the resources, and then fill it back in with just the dirt.
So like they take the earth, move it to somewhere else, sort through it all, and then put the earth back?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
The only time I've ever heard anybody talk about strip mining is in big business when they strip mine Jupiter Hollow.
Jupiter Hollow?
They're gonna strip mine Jupiter Hollow. Okay.
Wait, what is that from?
It's from Big Business.
What is Big Business?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, is that the Melanie Griffith movie?
No, it's Bette Midler. And,
okay. Where she plays the twins?
They both play twins.
Yes.
Okay, the Iglax don't want to let the humans out to fight in the galaxy because other species will find out the humans are willing to work for so little and they will come attack.
Yes.
And take the Iglax good position away. She tells Darius he has qualified for a ship. He works to pay off his ship and then he'll be Earth's first starfighter. She requires his sperm so they can use it to create a stronger humanity, which actually doesn't ever come up again in the whole thing.
Not in this book.
Right, and this is the first book, so...
First and only book at this point.
Iglax just emailed all humans, Tim loved this part, that Darius just became the first starfighter. So every single human got an email about this.
Point.
Yeah. He signs the contract and Rose gifts him an earpiece that makes it so when he thinks, something happens.
Yes.
Which is super, super cool.
Yeah.
But what if you accidentally think something you didn't really mean and then it just happens? Yeah. Anyway. His call sign is KD. KD. He accepts one of a trillion money-making missions and enters the galaxy.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. He names his ship AI-17. Oh, he names his ship's AI 17. Yeah. His cockpit is set up similar to a helicopter. it said.
Yes.
First mission, Delmax 776005434XX4 system.
You wrote those down?
Just the first one.
Oh my goodness. That was like the worst part of this book.
Each chapter started with like, well, just when they were starting the new missions or in the middle of a mission, it would repeat that.
Oh.
I don't know about you, but I listened to this book on 1.5 speed, so that wasn't as obnoxious for me because it just went brrrr.
1.2.
Okay.
I got it on 1.2.
So, this says 100,000 Gs come in live against Axe 40 Mining.
What is a G?
I don't know.
Because
that's
in aviation terms, a G is a gravity.
Okay. So that's their dollar.
That is also the name of their
galactic dollar.
The galactic
and
bill.
It's way more than like an Earth dollar.
Right.
Yeah. So he's going to get 100,000 of these galactic bills, and I'll just call them G's in this review. If he's going to come in live against Axe 40 Mining, and the good guys are Osmio Mining. That's his first mission. So basically, a lot of places in the galaxy, there's just these mining companies, and they're trying to mine the precious materials, but then there's bandits trying to come in, or there's other mining companies trying to take their ship. It's like what this whole book is trying to take other people's ship or keep people from taking your ship.
Yes.
This first contract is for 5 weeks. He acts like a cowboy again. He comes in like shooting and stuff, and his handler calls him out. Darius says he's just following the SOP, the standard operating procedure.
Correct.
And he's acting arrogant on purpose. If they cancel his contract, he gets paid anyway. And he just gets free time off or whatever he gets paid. He meets his liaison, Almus, and she's a pink chipper alien. When he arrives at the hangar, he says there's probably a bounty on his head now. She asked him twice in a row, I hear you have no tail. Did you notice that? And then like, he says something and then she goes, I hear you have no tail. And I was like, is this a robot?
No, I think what it was she was just awkward.
Oh.
Like, there's a species out there that is just like humans, but they have like a bunny tail.
Oh, that's what she was?
No, that's not what she was.
Oh.
But I think she was just kind of nervous and flustered.
Huh.
And yeah.
Okay, so she...
But what was his response to that? Do you remember?
He says they do, but it's on the front and they use it for mating.
Yes, which totally throws her for a loop.
She's super embarrassed and he attempts to make friends with her. She's a Laxini and she's the 8th daughter of 15. So she's like the handler. She's working for this other species, right?
Yes.
Okay, so she just went there like for a job. And nobody wants to talk to her, and he notices that she really wants to make friends, so he starts to make friends with her.
Yes.
Darius wonders, thousands of alien species, and how has one not become the god species over all of them? And how has Earth not been found before? And the answer is that Earth was found billions of years ago, and they weren't even there. Mm-hmm. And they figured life would eventually find a way, and people would come back and check on Earth later.
Yes.
Which is, in fact, what happened.
Yes.
His handler comes back with new rules, no missiles near ships. Okay. He flies for a month peacefully, and there was no battle, and he was super bored.
Yep.
Yeah. He goes to talk to the people that hired him, and they tell him they're not renewing his contract. And he's like, well, it's kind of expensive, but oh well. Darius decides this was a boring mission, so now he knows he wants more of a protector mission or fighter mission or something like that.
More excitement.
Yes, he has one more flight before he heads back to the Sol system with 20% of his debt paid off. So they keep talking about the Sol system. Is that what they call Earth's?
Yes.
Okay. Sol system is Earth's what?
That's our solar system.
Is that what they call the galaxy?
Well, that's what
the
they call
solar system. Yeah, okay. So it's like the solar system.
The sun and the 9 planets. Or 8 planets. Or 7 planets. 13 planets.
Okay.
However many planets we officially have at this date and time, that's the Sol system.
Okay.
SOL.
Well, in
Not SOUL.
In 2032, there might be a different amount. So.
It's hard to tell. I mean, does Pluto make a comeback?
We don't know.
Does it bring friends to the party?
We need to let Han tell us. So next he has a meeting with Rose. She tells him he's in first place of human earners. Since he's the only one, that would make sense, right?
No, because while he was away, a lot of these companies turned to actually mining, and so he's even making more money. He made more money in that one job.
20% of that one job, right?
Well, no.
It was 20% of his ship that was paid off.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So in that one job, he made more than like all the other companies.
Wow. And companies are almost like nations in this book.
They become like nations in space.
Even though they're still living on Earth.
Well, most of them take to space.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
okay.
So they become space entities because there's no way to tax them in space.
One thing that I thought was funny is that anytime, so tell me what you think of this. Anytime he's in his cockpit, anytime he's where, he's being filmed. So like everybody on Earth can watch everything he's doing.
Everything he's doing.
Is it like Truman Show where it's like every second is filmed and
well, it could be. It could be because that device that she gave him also records everything. So the only way to stop being recorded is to literally take that implant out and lock it in like a lead box.
And you can only do that for a certain amount of time.
No, you can take it out if you want, but it has so many advantages to having it in that it's kind of pointless to just take it out.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's funny because there's something where because when he's in space for a month, he has to stick a tube up his butt because he can't go to the bathroom or something, and it's videoed, and all of Earth watches him do it. Yeah, and he's not even freaked out. He's just like, well, okay. He's hilarious. Like he's just baseline. It's funny.
Very even keel.
So, Rose tells him that she set up a meeting for him with Gordon of NYC. So Gordon runs the Listener company, something. So his family owned a radio station, and then he became like a network mogul, and then he started this mining company that got really well.
I'll go with that.
Yeah, okay. And then he moved to space?
He moves to space.
Okay. She informs him that the Secretary of Defense is annoyed that he didn't sign with the U.S. government, and so they rejected his parents' passport, and they're now stranded in Italy.
In Italy, yeah.
There's seriously so much stuff that happens in this thing, you guys. This part isn't that important, but just to know that the U.S. is really mad that the best fighter went to space and just started working for himself and didn't try to help the world.
Yeah.
He finds a note from the U.S. government pleading for him to work with him, and he reads it, and he's just like, meh. He meets with Gordon Rickshaw, the corporation guy, and says and Gordon says, I took care of your parents, I put them in a hotel. This
would have been better if this was Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, we should just call him Gordon Ramsay.
Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Okay, it was Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah.
And he wants Darius to come teach Gordon Ramsay's pilots how to pass the test so that they can get more pilots. He says he'll think about it. This is what he does to everybody. He listens to the proposal. He's not going to do any of it. He just goes, I'll think about it.
I'll think about that.
He tries to call his parents, and they tell him not to worry about them. So even though they've had like this super crazy time, they're just like, oh, we're so happy to hear from you. Have a great time. Do what your heart wants. Yeah. For his next mission, he's headed out to the Rascusi War.
Yes, the Rascusis.
Involving highly contagious mutants, and there is a 100 G's bonus if he survives for 30 days. So he's about to go to this war where they're trying to kill all of these infected people because it makes it so when you breed, you have like a ton of babies.
Not only that, but they become like mindless, animalistic.
Just breeders.
Yeah.
And so the women who know they're infected like have to lock themselves away and stuff, right?
Yes, if they don't want to have a ton of kids, though.
He encounters a massive armada, and they all target him till 17 sends out emails to them. He steers away when they all aim away from him, and he receives a message that he's leaving their safety, and if he comes back with contaminants, he will be destroyed. He'll be looking for pirates while he's out there. He tells 17 to start scanning for targets. So 17 is his AI, and she's a little bit snarky, she's a little bit uptight, but she's good AI. And she's Rose's.
Yeah, I mean,
she's
as far
Rose's
as AIs
implanted
go,
AI.
Yeah, as far as AIs go, she's pretty good. You could do worse.
He tells 17 to start scanning for targets of opportunity while watching for ships that are interested in attacking him. So he's got to watch on the offensive, or on the defensive, but he also wants to see if there's a ship he can attack and take back for profit.
Yes.
So he's drifting through the war's trash. A small spacecraft approaches his shut-off ship. He's baiting them. And Darius pounces and he says, "Eject now or die." And the pilot continues to flee instead of ejecting, so Darius shoots plasma balls and destroys it. And he's like, "Oh,
Kaboom.
Whoopsie." So he didn't. I don't think he really wanted to destroy the ship, right? Because then he couldn't take it
Well,
back for.
Here's the thing. During that Rakuzi War, every ship that he kills, he gets a bounty for.
Oh, so he got bounty for that.
Right, he got
Okay.
bounty for that. He would have made more if he was able to get the ship, bring it back, and sell it.
Mm-hmm.
But even just destroying it, he gets a bonus.
And Darius pretty much always gives people the opportunity to live. So he's like, "Okay, eject out of your ship and I won't kill you." Some of them do it, some of them don't.
Most don't.
He studies while he waits for the next fight. He attacks another ship, then races to the friendly armada. So he's like, "Tag, run back." He's going to get the bounty on the frigate he conquered. I wrote that down. I don't remember what frigate he conquered.
That's the one.
The one that he just did. Oh,
Yeah.
the destroyed. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets a communication from flagship Sepum to come in and let the admiral congratulate him personally, and he gets a weird feeling.
Yes.
He's bathing and gets interrupted by the admiral's men to take him to the admiral. He's like literally naked. He hasn't had a shower in a long
30
time.
30 days.
That's 30 days?
Yeah.
The Rakuzi War?
Yeah, he was there for 30 days.
That's bad.
Yeah.
He gets to...
That's where he had to do the...
Oh, this is the next one. That was the first mission. This is the next one on the Rakuzi War. That's the second mission.
That's the one that he had to do the tube.
Okay. Well, then I preemptively told you about that.
Okay.
He gets to an Earth-like diner kind of situation, and there's a slime woman, and she intercepts him. Her name is Lisa. She has a job for him.
Yeah.
It pays well. She has an agent who's stranded out in the Rakuzi War, and this agent is not infected, but she needs a ride back. He says he'll think about it, and he heads back home and buys some new suits, like some new space suits.
Yes, for mining.
For mining. Okay, because do the miners go out?
No, most of
ships?
them don't. In fact, at one point, he's gathering up materials by shooting them and
Like tethering them back
tethering them back into his ship so that he
Okay.
can be gathering up while he's waiting.
Okay. The last job paid enough that he paid off the ship. I wrote that down, but is that correct? It is, because it seemed like
It was.
later he still owed money to Rose.
No, he didn't owe money to her, but he had a contract with her. So,
Oh, okay.
so he paid off what he needed to on the ship, so he didn't have to continue paying her that. But the contract was
He gives her a
for
percent.
that year. He still had to give her a percentage.
Okay. So that frigate that he got, he made a lot of money off of that.
Yes, a lot of money.
He's now like the wealthiest person in the United States, in the
In the
world, like over a bunch of times.
Over.
Yeah. He's approached by two Iglacs who want to hire Darius off of Rose. They think she has too much power.
Mm-hmm.
He finds it's hard to relate. Oh, I'm kind of skipping. He finds it's hard to relate to his old friends, so he didn't say yes to the Iglacs. But he's kind of thinking about his friends and do I want to return to Earth? And I can't really talk to my friends about anything I'm going through. They don't understand.
I want to be bad, but I'm perfectly good at it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
I didn't write the damn song.
He goes to a Gordon party on Gordon's space station.
Yes.
Gordon Ramsay.
A food tasting
Yes.
competition.
He meets a red-haired lady named Julia.
Oh, Julia, that's a cute
He
name.
learns from Julia that he is the richest man in the world.
What?
Oh, no. He learned that from the band leader.
What?
Julia tells him the Chinese and Russians put a bounty on him.
Yeah.
People on Earth call him Red Line and a selfish beep hole. So what's a red line? Because they keep talking about that.
Red line. So,
That means when you let the engine go to red or something?
So basically, like if you look on take the car for example,
Uh-huh.
there's an RPMs on there, and that's how hard you're working the engine. So if you take it to the red line, that means you're maxing out the engine,
Right.
and you could experience a critical failure
Okay.
Anytime you take it to the red.
Okay, and then I understood it correctly. It's just...
I'm sure you
He's
did.
not stupid. Why would he do that? He's going to break his ships.
Because he's...
That's just his cowboy nature.
Yeah. He's daring.
Yeah. Daring.
Daring do.
So,
the daring
he
do.
thinks Julia's hot, by the way.
Who doesn't? I mean,
this is the
Julia,
first,
she's
like...
redheaded.
This is the first woman that he's like, oh, okay.
Seen in months? Yes, that is correct.
Julia asks him back to her room because they can't talk about sensitive topics in public. Wink, wink.
No, just say them all, send them all.
She works analytics for Gordon Ramsay. News stations hate Darius for making millions in seconds and not giving anything back to Earth.
What a jerk.
So it's like we think about the bajillionaires like in our world right now, and we're like, why don't they donate more to the poor and the hungry and help relief efforts?
Right.
Then imagine if that's exponentially so much bigger and this person's still not going to give anything to help any humans. Darius says he's saving up to buy a better ship so that he can make a difference.
Yeah, wants to make a difference.
I don't know that he
you know what? There's something on your chin.
Julia's in the bathroom running a bath and comes out naked, inviting him into the bath.
I wonder what that's all about.
She says there's a spy on the spaceport.
Oh, I thought you were going to say spider.
Darius is in danger.
There's a spider in my tub.
But that he should sleep with her. He climbs in the bath. He leaves Julia's room after a few hours.
Because, the thing that I like is, you're in danger. Somebody on this ship wants to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Come here.
As soon as he leaves Julia's room, he meets a black-haired lady outside her door, and her name is Natasha.
Ooh, this sounds
She says,
scary.
"Is it normal for you to sleep with a married woman?" And he's like, "Oh."
Yes, it is.
Demon goat men appear.
It should be noted. It should be noted that at that point he uses the thing in his ear to check on if that was actually true. Turned out it was true, but Julia was already estranged and going through a divorce.
Sure. I couldn't write fast enough during this.
You know what? I'll be honest with you. I am super glad
it was me taking
notes. It was you taking notes and not me,
because
it was just constant.
It was constant, and every new thing I was like, oh, this might be really important to the plot. I better write this down. I was like, I don't want to forget about this and have it be important later.
This part was important.
The fact that she was married?
No, the fact that he had sex with a redhead.
Well, it actually is important that he had sex with her. So demon goatmen appear behind her, and Natasha draws 2 daggers. They're actually there to fetch Darius for Rose. They're not the people trying to kill him. Rose wants to hire the 2 of them, Natasha and Darius, to go in disguise as a relocation couple to rescue the agent that Lisa was talking about. I wrote down that Rose wants to hire him, but is it Lisa?
No, it is Rose.
Yeah, Rose is like, you should do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darius requests 5 million G's, and the agent cannot attack him when he gets there. That's his request to do the job. Natasha.
What agent?
The agent, the one that's in the Rakusi War, that is trying to get back from the war.
Oh, see, I misread that. I thought he was saying that I would do it for 5 million, and Natasha wouldn't attack him. Because remember, in the hallway, she pulls the daggers on him.
Oh, maybe that's what it was referred to.
Yeah, so that's what I was assuming.
I didn't think they referred to Natasha as an agent, so that's why...
They referred to her as an operative, continually.
Okay, well, no one can attack him that's female.
Nobody knows.
Julia. Natasha is the world's best assassin, says Rose, and her boss just got killed 30 seconds ago. Work for me.
Who killed him?
Was it Rose?
It was Rose.
Oh,
Rose
nice.
killed him.
They're both in. So they both are like, yep, we're going to do it. And they read the contract, and they're partners now. They meet some cow people who are providing weaponry, and Natasha demands better weapons. She likes guns, and there's these specific ones that are like...
Top of the line, yeah. The ones that they gave her were 7,000 years old.
What the?
Yeah. Yeah, so the technology in this book is so good that 7,000-year-old guns
are still work. Yeah.
But they're not good guns. No one wants to use them because they're crappy guns.
Yeah, she's like, are you trying to get us killed?
Yeah.
Like, no, thank you. So they have to steal a ship on the way out. So they're both in, and then he finds out they have to steal a ship, and he's like, actually, this isn't the mission for me.
I'm out.
And he leaves. His little pod, carrier thing that's been zipping him around the space station takes him back to the diner where the gel lady Lisa is there and tries to hire him again. He says he needs a properly equipped crew and ship to do this. He's not just going to go with Natasha in a stolen ship to go do this rescue mission.
And then steal another ship just to get back.
He won't go because this mission is going to fail the way they want to do it, is what he said. Then they jab a needle in his back and he passes out. Nice people. Yeah. He wakes up in a transportation unit with a tube in his nose and he's breathing goop.
Yes.
So, think Matrix, right?
Kinda,
where he wakes up in the pod and he's got to pull all the tubes out. He yanks the tube out and crawls around the storage bay, and his earpiece confirms that he is on the smuggler ship with Natasha. So he had his earpiece in the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. So he arrives naked in the cockpit and takes over flying from Natasha, who is not doing great. She's freaking out.
No.
And they're being fired at, and he has to do fancy work to get out of there. He figures out there must be a bounty on his ship, and that's why every ship is attacking them now.
Everybody's attacking. And they're like, don't worry, this ship, we've got all the good codes for you.
The one they just smuggled?
Yeah.
Oh.
They were supposed to have all good codes, and so there should have been no one even looking at them as they go to this gate.
But they're pinging every alarm.
Yeah,
So he slips into a wormhole to try to survive. They get through the wormhole, and he learns that they did not tell Natasha that they were stashing Darius on board. So she was super surprised to see him walk naked into the cockpit.
That was funny, too, because he was completely naked.
Yeah.
And
he stays naked for a while. Yeah. So then, again here, he repeats, I have a plan. He repeats it twice. And I think that there must be an issue with the book because the narrator did this twice now. He's What's like, that? I have a plan. And then she says something and then he goes, I have a plan. Like in the same exact voice. Anyway, I noticed it. I think there's something wrong with the audiobook.
Or it could just be he's stressing that he has a plan.
They get to the miners in an asteroid mining field. And ominous...
And that's M-I-N-E-R-S, not M-I-N-O-R-S.
Yeah, there's no minors in this. Whenever I say miners, whenever they call somebody a miner, they're talking about the people mining the material.
Correct.
An ominous voice in his comms says, Darius 17, we're waiting. He's still flying naked. He's pretty pissed about being drugged and forced on this mission.
Understandable.
Darius wonders why he doesn't feel like a more honorable hero like from stories. He actually just wants to work for himself and not Earth. Darius guides Natasha how to land the mining ship. She is a very nervous pilot. So they get out to a mining ship. She gets on it, and he helps her get it back to him, right? Because now they're both driving right now.
Yeah.
So Natasha had smuggled onto a family's miner ship and stole it.
Yes.
Stealing them into... Okay, so basically she was like, family, get into the escape pods, but she didn't actually make them escape. She's got them all on board with her. She brings it to where Darius and the smuggler ship is waiting. She's not happy about it. They attach the miner to the smuggler. Darius finally puts clothes on.
Finally.
Yeah. He explores the miner, and it's a big family home. There's a blue lady with toddlers. Natasha had only put the father in the escape pod because she didn't want to take the home from the family. They are infected by the contagion. They land in the city, and...
Just so you know, the contagion is passed through fluids. So even though the family's contagious and they're on the same ship, Darius and Natasha won't catch it unless there's a bodily fluid exchange of some sort.
Or if they drank from the same water source, you can contaminate a water. That's how this family got it. I'm
right,
pretty sure.
Correct.
They land in the city.
But just breathing the same air is not going to do it.
Right, good point. They land in the city, and a random kid, it's like a worm alien, tries to steal onto his ship, but encounters one of Natasha's traps and gets his stomach blasted open. Natasha leaves the ship to go look for the agent, and Darius studies all the ships parked near him. He finds a ship he covets. While he's online in Natasha's account, so he's logging in under her account, he finds that she's getting 1 million messages a day from horny aliens that think she's newly infected and want to breed with her.
Yes.
He decides to make an ad as her, catfishing to get someone to offer to be her sugar daddy in exchange for boning. He finds an alien, Garmuth, with an awesome ship that they're thinking of stealing and letting this family go with their ship.
Yes.
This is not the end of my notes. I continue
I
on
was
my phone.
I was gonna say.
Natasha reboards the ship with a bird woman and another alien lady and an alien man. Bird woman is the agent. The other lady was born with a birth defect which didn't save the mom, but did make it so the daughter she birthed was immune.
Right.
They're bringing them back to study how to replicate this immunity. So they have the man, the husband, the wife.
Who's a werewolf.
He's a werewolf?
The husband was a werewolf, and the wife and the daughter were sirens.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The agent is in love with the husband, the werewolf.
Yes.
So bird lady is in love with werewolf dude.
Yeah. Bird and dog.
Bird
dog and
it.
snake.
There's a joke on Nick Cannon here when they're talking about the catfishing proposal. It's so funny. Darius was catfishing. She got a bunch of proposals back. She accepted the one where she leveraged for a better ship for 4 years after agreeing to sleep with him as much as he wants and raising his children, which she won't actually do, of course. They arrive at a ship dealership, and Natasha points out the ship she wants.
So basically what's happening here is he gives the guy that she's going to sleep with, gives her a deposit.
Oh, okay.
And she takes that deposit and she puts it down on a ship.
Okay.
Like a down payment. That's what happened.
Okay, so she's going to take his money and disappear, basically.
She's taking his money.
Just the deposit.
Yeah, she's taking his deposit and putting it down on the ship and then stealing the ship.
Okay. So that seems like that would be like a really stupid guy to believe that. You wouldn't just take the money. She's going to be scanned inside.
You get anything you want.
She's going to be scanned inside to make sure her womb is vacant.
Yes.
And then take the ship and hopefully escape without Natasha being held prisoner. They go to the room where the guests are staying. So now they're back on the other ship. The mother has her daughter. Oh, so they steal the ship, right?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
So they're actually at the dealership, and this is where they go back into their ship. The stolen miner ship.
Before they're going to take the other ship.
Before they take the other ship.
Okay, so they encounter the new passengers they just picked up. The mother has a knife to her daughter's throat. She had already sliced her husband's throat and stabbed the agent. So Darius shoots the siren mom, and they
Did you say why?
Yeah, I just said.
Oh, I didn't. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I missed it.
So Darius shoots the siren lady, and they put the child to sleep. They have to hurry to save the agent. Darius has to sign a contract that he'll stay in captivity the day before and after Natasha's ovulation. So now we're back to that thing where they're going to steal a ship. They sold the stolen ship and split in half after giving Rose her part. He had 255 million G's.
Yes.
Natasha left without saying goodbye, and he was hurt. So it was a yacht, right?
It was.
Yeah, just like some luxurious yacht cruiser.
Yeah.
So that guy gave her so much money that she could put a deposit down on a yacht cruiser?
Yes.
Wow. So they had to give Rose her part, but after splitting in half and giving whatever to Rose, he has 255 million G's.
Yes.
Which is just like an obscene amount of money.
Yes.
Nobody on Earth has seen that much money.
Negatory.
He's in the market for a Nomad Starfighter ship. Like House Hunters, there's 3 choices. Which one will he pick at the dealers? Spend a while going over the pros and cons.
I really love that analogy.
Yeah,
there.
well, it's exactly like it. There's 3 choices. Each one has good things, and each one has bad things. He went with option 2, the Karami Nomad, the #1 fighter for 4,000 years. He paid 205 million G's.
Oh, he's almost broke.
Yes. The first mission in his new ship is an escort mission with the merchant marines to get food to a beleaguered planet. And also, I just kind of brushed past the fact that Natasha just ditched him. She didn't even say goodbye. She left him a little note. But he read it and he was like, well, that sucks. But he didn't respond or anything. He just was like, whatever. So, the pirate fleet is trying to get at them while they are, with the merchant marines, taking this food to this planet. His job is to pick off missiles to protect the frigates. So the Komari Nomad is really good at just zipping around and shooting the missiles so they don't actually...
And it's actually faster than the missiles.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
So, if he gets shot at by missiles, he can just outrun them until they run out of energy.
Wow.
Yes.
him remembering the good, important things.
Of course, that's what I do.
So he does lots of fancy flying and fighting. He took a hit on one of his engines, but they win the battle. He gets a message from Natasha. Big Bear Guy comes in to talk to him at his dinner table, so he didn't look at the message yet.
Big Bear Guy?
He describes him as a big bear guy. He finds out it's his admiral from the last mission. Big old bear dude awards him with a bunch of medals, and the people at the restaurant applaud him. Bear dude wants to invest in his future and offers him credits. Like, he's like, hey, in the future, if you want me to invest in a venture you have, let me know. So, the bear dude also suggests that Darius gets life extenders.
Yes, life extenders.
They thankfully don't go into what that all, involves.
It's a pill.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess they did go into it.
At one point, it might be a little bit later, somebody asks him about it because...
I remember the asking about. I don't remember the pill.
He's like, how do you do it? And he's like, oh, it's over the counter. Or it's not over the counter. You have to get a prescription for it.
Doesn't mean it's a pill.
Well, he says it's formulated specially for you.
Also doesn't mean it's a pill.
It's a pill.
It's not a pill.
It's a pill.
If they probably stick something.
It's a sack of pill. No, why is everything in this book got to go up somebody's butt for you?
I didn't write it.
Oh my goodness.
He has a month to kill till they get to their destination. Oh yeah, this was surprising to him. He's like, oh, we're done, and now I just have to sit here for a month. Boring. He goes back to that message from Natasha, and there's also Danny, his friend from Earth, is there with Natasha.
Oh, Danny boy.
Natasha had helped Danny learn how to message Darius in space. He learns that Rose had made Darius kind of incommunicado to help him avoid another mission from Lisa, the see-through blob lady. And that's why he wasn't really able to communicate with people.
Wasn't it also so that the United States couldn't get a hold of him?
Maybe.
Because the government was calling and Rose is like, I don't think so.
Maybe, but, I mean, is Rose, in charge of him?
Apparently.
Natasha was sad that he didn't acknowledge her leaving, and she still wants a friendship. So she was like, dude, why didn't you chase after me? Why didn't you contact me? Danny is staying with Natasha, and she's staying at a station and trying to build a team. He sends them a video message back. So he's really happy to see them together, and he's like, oh, I wonder if Danny's trying to hit on Natasha. Well, I guess if he does.
Yeah.
He meets an ugly humanoid alien captain.
Well, you really do know how that goes.
Welcoming him to the Darminia frigate. There's a big bump and something's tugging on the ship. 4 sets of fighters are aiming right at them.
Oh no.
Darius races to an escape pod before anyone else can take the escape pods, and Captain Consos follows him, this big ugly alien lady, follows him into it, and he tells her they ran into a trap.
How close were they in that escape pod?
They were up on each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. She demands that he tell her what he saw that made him start running. He said, I wanted an opportunity to get to know you better, and she headbutted him. So he tells her. He receives a mark for failure to detect the ambush trap.
Yeah.
What is that?
So,
it's against his record?
Yeah. He gets a mark on his record because he didn't notice the trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darius suspects it was an inside ambush.
Inside.
He bought a few alien trinkets to help the humans back home.
Yes.
Florida becomes the 8th state to secede the Union. United Nations has disbanded. He asks Natasha, WTF is going on Earth?
What is going on?
She says humanity is rebelling against the Iglak. Tens of thousands are dead. Countries are getting blackballed from mining if they protest. Rose tells him she repossessed the K-17 due to a clause in the contract.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, you actually don't have this now. I have it again. Bye. Even though he already paid off the ship. Rose thinks Darius should tell humanity via broadcast that the Iglak merchants are leaving and likely all other aliens are going to pounce on Earth. Recommends they all leave the Sol system. So he's like, I have to tell everybody this?
Yeah, what?
Yeah. So basically, humanity started rebelling, started killing all the Iglaks, and the Iglaks all decided this wasn't worth it, and they're just going to leave.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Julia stares angrily from across a boardroom table. I guess this is after he did in fact go online and tell everybody. And he just matter of factly tells them like I just said.
Yeah.
And she's mad. He recommends they all go with him and rule a splinter of humanity in space. He wants the people Julia rules to go with him. So Julia works for Gordon Ramsay.
Not anymore.
Who does she work for now?
She is the head of the company now.
Head of Gordon Ramsay's company?
Yes.
Why? Because he retired?
He went to take over North Carolina?
Louisiana.
Was it Louisiana? Okay, yeah. So he went to one of those new countries called Louisiana or North Carolina.
That seems weird that he would abandon his family's company and go do a different company. Well, anyway.
He wants to be king.
So Julia runs a whole country, which actually means that company, which means she runs a whole country, like nation in space.
Yes.
Yeah. So he wants them all to come with him. I wrote down Darius and Natasha can find it. I don't know what that means.
Can find what?
I don't know. Darius's plan is to rent a freighter that can house thousands and then head into space and start a mining organization where Darius and Natasha can find it, apparently. Danny and Darius set out together and leave the others to make plans. Danny tells Darius he's changed. He thinks he's in love with Natasha.
Ooh.
They discuss how they could use Darius's money to save a lot of humanity. Darius frequently has these discussions on how he can make more noble choices, but he doesn't actually do it.
Yeah.
They rent the giant freighter and head to Earth to go pick up all these people.
Apparently.
But I thought you said that Gordon Ramsay's company was out in space somewhere, so maybe they're not going to Earth.
So
maybe they're going to space somewhere.
They are going to space to pick up all these people.
But it's like just outside Earth's atmosphere?
Yeah, so basically what they did was this company picked like 5,000 people with their families and everything to go with them.
Yes, Julia picked them.
Right, and so they're all going to load up on this.
I thought you were about to explain where Julia's... Because Julia's country is in the Sol system. So they're still somewhere in the solar system that we know of now. Okay, so they're like kind of close to Earth. They don't have to go through wormholes.
No.
Okay. Anyway. Darius addresses all the people gathered to enter his ship. He tells them to be nice. All these people were selected by Julia and passed mental exams. Natasha handpicked her relatives to make it onto the ship, and Darius's mom and pop are on there too, of course. But the rest of the people are like handpicked because they're supposed to be mentally stable, or they're good miners, or something like that. That's what Julia is the boss. Natasha has been declared a traitor to her country. She's pretty sad about that. Julia ditched her and left her hanging with a lot of responsibility. She has a bounty on her head from Russia, and since she's the wealthiest woman in the universe, everyone wants something from her. So Natasha's pretty stressed. She's like, eee.
She needs a spa day.
And they cuddle as they chat about this. It's very sweet. Julia's been asking about Darius non-stop, which has been frustrating for her because she's missed him and feels like herself when she's with him. So now she's like, but is he with this other lady? I don't really know how I should feel about this. Darius tells her the reason he came back to Earth is her and Danny. And not the reason he's not chilling on a beach with beers and babes is because of her and Danny. Natasha bluntly asks how he feels about Julia, and he admits to their one-night stand. But she's not the one he's been texting all day long, every day. So he's like, see? They decide they need a mission right away because they used all their money to bring these people into space. There are 5,000 people on this ship, and they complain about the conditions on the ship. The main condition is that they can't get rid of the poop fast enough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Iglax let them shuttle a bunch of goods up from the Earth. Darius gets a response from one of the missions he's interested in. He has 1 million messages in his inbox, and every single one is pleading for help. He's hoping that this works. He can deposit all of these people and then go back for more. So he actually, he reads it and he does feel like he should be helpful. So he's like, okay, I'm going to go do this mission. I'm going to transport these 5,000 people. Then I'll go back and get 5,000 more. That's the plan.
Mm-hmm.
He heads out in 17 to mine some, it says mine some steroids, clearly, to mine some asteroids. And he chats with his dad about he sold the house, but Darius doesn't really care, but he doesn't tell his dad that. His dad's like, I just wanted you to know I sold the house, and I don't really make any money off of it. His dad wants him to know that he can't depend on his dad to support him in the future. But obviously Darius doesn't need that.
Doesn't need it.
And he's literally just like, I do not care, is what he's thinking in his head. But he's just trying to be polite and doesn't tell his dad.
Yep.
Darius is kind of rude sometimes.
No.
Darius, yes.
No.
Darius finds a ship attached to a little crater in an asteroid. The pilot is dead, and Darius plans to take the ship.
How old's the ship?
Maybe I didn't take note of how old the ship is. How old's the ship?
1,000,000.
1,000,000 years
A million
old?
years old. The ship's been... I don't know how old the ship is, but the body has been there for 1,000,000 years.
What? What?
Yeah.
Okay. Darius plans to take the ship. All of a sudden, a bunch of bandit ships descend on him, and he has to do fancy work to get away from
Bogey's
them.
on my 6.
He has to tell his dad how to fly the miner ship, because his dad apparently has some piloting experience, because otherwise he'd be like, why is he flying this ship? And Darius is flying around in the Nomad. He goes into attack mode. This is the first time he's been nervous during a fight. I've noticed in all the other fights he's just like, whatever, what? But in this one he's like, oh no, like, the narrator's voice gets excited and raised up and stuff.
I mean, it's not just him at this point. You
Right.
know, his family is on that other ship.
Right.
His mom, his dad.
Yeah. So that's the relevance of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
He's actually caring about what the outcome might be. So they're fighting and fighting. He kind of has to choose between whether to protect his dad or to kill the ship or whatever. He kind of makes a call there, and his dad's ship gets shot. And he sees a big hole in the cockpit, and he's really nervous that his dad is dead. What it actually says is he thinks Pa is dead.
Paul.
He reloads the missiles and chases down all the fighters and miners that don't surrender. He feels numb. He hasn't got a call from his mom on the ship, and he's worried she's dead too. They gather up all the miner ships while looking for Pa, but Darius figures he's gone, and they have a funeral for him. So he does actually, like, kill all the miners and stuff, and he gets revenge, but his dad's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly.
Or so he thinks. Because they couldn't find him. So he has a financial meeting with Julia and the other decision makers in the country. It's called, like, Pavia. Is that right? That's all right?
Pavia? Yeah, I think so.
They want to use his property for money. So they're like, hey, you just got all these ships, and technically they're yours, but we'd like to take them from you.
We'd like those.
Yeah. So he doesn't want them to leverage for more debt. He gives them the ships. They just captures and leaves to go check on his mom. So he's just kind of totally numb. He's like, you want my money? Fine, whatever. Just take this. And he goes check on his mom. They sell the fighter. He takes his second in command, whose name is Amelia. She's like a hardcore, know-it-all kind of in-your-face person. With him to shop. She was recommended by Natasha because of her flight score. She's like the best of the best of the best. They're looking for
Darius is actually the best of the best of the best.
Well,
but
aside from Darius.
She's next.
Yeah.
She's runner-up.
I put here that they're looking for a yacht. I don't think they really are looking for a yacht.
No, they're not looking for a yacht. They're looking for
a frigate, right?
It depends.
Oh.
They're looking at a bunch of things.
A yacht is more like a pleasure cruiser kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, they're looking for attack vessels.
Okay. Amelia suggests that he end his love triangle with Julia and Natasha. He's like, we don't need the drama and the love triangle. And he's like, I don't have a love triangle. And she also says that he shouldn't trust Natasha the spy. I know.
What?
Rude. Julia tells Darius the council needs someone to make final decisions when the council can't come to a consensus.
Pick me.
And he's like, oh, no. I do not want to be in charge. He says he will support Julia as ultimate leader. There's this doctor named Ortiz. He's been flirting it up with Julia. He says Julia, like in front of everybody, because lots of times when they have these discussions, they have their suits on, but they're in these comms, so they can all talk and they can all hear what everybody's saying. And Ortiz just says right there he thinks Julia is weak. She wouldn't be good at this job. And Julia suddenly poisons him in his suit and he dies.
Yes.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, what? You said what? Dead. Yeah. She's been listening in on all of his private conversations he thinks was private, but she knows that he's been jockeying to be in a couple with her and then take over. So she's like, I was looking for a reason to kill you. Julia says she's very stressed and tells Danny to come to her room again tonight. Come to my room again. And Darius is like, I don't know where that is going. Natasha private messages Darius that she's been suggesting for a while that Julia make Danny her man, and that he will spy for them to keep an eye on Julia, who they are calling their Queen of Pavia. So, yes, it's Pavia. Natasha and Darius now shop for a ship, arm in arm. So he was shopping with Amelia, he came back, now he took Natasha out.
Well, this is all the same shopping trip.
Okay, but he was with Amelia, then he went and got Natasha, and now he's shopping with Natasha.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's very significant. He confides in her how sad he is about his father. She tells him he is not alone. They bought a smuggler disguised as a freighter.
Yes.
Their mission is to pick up families at a space station and transporting them for 10 million G's a family. Like, during this mission, they also decide to pick up a bunch of chickens and transport them to a planet that lost all their poultry due to a disease.
They're doing the one mission, and they get the second mission. So after they drop the people off, then they go get the chickens.
Oh, okay. So during this trip, Darius has been rooming with Natasha and her family. They've been sleeping in the same bed, platonically though, because they're like right next to Natasha's mom, whose name is Victoria. And Victoria tells Darius, yeah, the secret is Natasha's in love with Darius. Danny and Darius have a heart-to-heart over an alien beer. And they've arrived at their new home on the space station. I just kind of skipped real quick through that.
You did.
Yeah.
That's good. Good job.
Natasha comes to Darius and says, "We need to talk."
Bum,
Dun,
bum,
dun, dun. She says, "Why are you toying with my heart?" She basically wants to have a DTR. If you don't know what that is, it's define the relationship.
Oh.
Yes.
I was like, down to what?
Down to read this book.
Okay, there you go.
He's nervous about losing his best friend if she doesn't like him as a romantic partner. He tells her when he closes his eyes, he sees her pregnant with their second child, and it scares him because he's not sure he's ready for all that. They decide to date and sleep together, and Darius is very satisfied. And then, side note, she wants him to call her wifey. That makes her really happy. He's out flying/scouting with a pilot named Garrett. They encounter
Garrett, yeah.
Garrett. Good old Garrett.
Good old Garrett.
They encounter a super freighter in stealth mode, and they almost run into it. Darius begins firing on it, and they exchange data about what they're mining with him to bring about a ceasefire. It's not technically what they did, right? But because they're being sussy, they won't actually tell him what they're mining. Darius decides to sell the Rutledge freighter and buy a bunch of fighters to go on the offensive against the Zorbeans.
Yes.
I don't know who the Zorbeans are. This is for their next mission? They're fighting against
the
Zorbeans?
So the Zorbeans are in the system that they're in.
The Sol system?
No, they're not in the Sol system anymore.
Okay.
They've taken the 5,000 people,
Uh-huh.
and they've gone to another system. And the reason they picked that system was because the Zorbeans have a bounty on their heads. And so they can kill the Zorbeans and make money that way, as well as mining.
Thank you, Tim, for filling us in.
Absolutely, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah. Darius is invited by his old Admiral Fow, that's his name, Fow, to start his own charter inside the Merchant Marines. Darius is about to be a Merchant Marine?
Again.
Yeah. But this time his own charter. At the ship sales place, he's informed he can take on investors in order to buy a bigger ship. He's shown a destroyer that he falls absolutely in love with. So now, not only is he shopping for a ship, they're like, actually, you can buy a huge ship and we'll all back you. Of course, you have to give us some of the dividends of your stuff. But he's thinking about it and he's like, I really don't want to take on investors. So he ends up not doing that. He trades in the freighter for 24 fighters. And they'll use their best pilots to go in and hopefully capture as many miners as they can in order to sell them. And he signed the charter. He and his crew head out to go attack the first sector of miners. Darius decides they're going to go for the freighter instead of the miners for a bigger payoff. The Zorbeans fight like mindless drones. Darius gives the freighter the chance to surrender, but they don't respond, and so Darius goes in to disable the freighter. And now frigates just come out and start coming at him. So, fighter, freighter, smuggler, frigate. What? Do you understand the difference between these ships? Because I do not.
So you basically have the miner is the low end of the totem pole.
Okay, like the size of a car?
No, it's much bigger. Think of it like um, let's use a school bus as an analogy.
Okay.
And then you can fill it all up with the seats all up with the ores and the stuff that you mine.
Okay.
Right. Then the next step up would be a fighter.
Okay.
And a fighter is something that can take out the miners.
Okay.
Right. Then you go a next step up. And
Sorry, start again with your hand not up there.
So after the fighter, then you go up to a cruiser. Actually, there's one in between. It's a destroyer.
That's before cruiser?
Yeah. So
Okay.
it's like a cross between a cruiser and a fighter.
Okay.
Which is the one he falls in
really
love
likes
with, is
that
the
one.
destroyer. And then on up is the cruiser, and then you go up to a battleship.
They didn't ever say that. Does that mean a frigate? Is a battleship a frigate?
Oh, sorry, a frigate. A frigate is above a fighter, below a destroyer.
Okay. Okay, but is a frigate like a combat? It's not like a
Yes.
freighter. It's a combat.
No, it's a combat. So
Okay.
the only one that's non-combat is the
freighter.
miner.
Oh. What's a freighter then?
Well, a freighter.
A freighter brings
freighter-
around the other ships, right?
Yeah, a freighter and a miner are kind of similar.
I thought the freighters were huge.
They can be.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I don't think that was ever explained to me.
That's what
in the
I
book.
live for.
The frigates come at him and he encounters that mysterious stealth ship again. They discuss how they don't want to fight, but again, don't say what they're doing. But basically, how he and Natasha understand it is the Zorbians are tools of the mysterious miners, and they want them cut down a peg, so they let Darius go ahead and haul off their prizes of the attack. So the mysterious miners actually are probably mad that he's getting rid of these ships that are doing the work for them, right? They're their operatives, kind of, right?
Yeah.
So it was a big win.
Yes,
there was a
big win.
2 billion G's frigate inside the station. So he captures a whole station. And it also has tons of raw materials inside. After everything sells at auction, they sell it all for $6.3 billion.
Yes.
And then Julia pays bills.
Yeah, she paid bills.
Yeah. Natasha and Darius go back to Plain House at the mining colony. They exchange the L word.
Lucian?
Loser.
Oh, okay.
Natasha,
Darius, you're such a loser.
Natasha tells Darius they've been approved for a loan for that destroyer he loves. They head back to the ship's sales lot. He gets a video message from Gordon Ramsay about Earth lately. The GGA, which is the Galactic
Governing
Alliance, relocated a Minotaur species to Earth, and there wasn't enough food
That's just bull.
for them and for the humans to both coexist. So China went to war with the Minotaurs that they called actually invaders. They didn't see them as peaceful beings and exterminated all of them. Gordon Ramsay's message closes abruptly after an emergency. He's just chatting. He's like, he hears the message. And he's like, oh, it just stops. So now Darius is sus about what's going on there. A father and daughter meet Darius at the lot. She wants a job in Darius's charter. She's an alien. This would be the first non-human he's hired, right?
Mm-hmm.
He recruits her as an engineer. He decided they need to rush to Earth because there's been no news from Earth. Total silence since Gordon Ramsay's message. Natasha and Darius have a staff discussion and talk about what they think is going on with Earth. They get to the wormhole directly before Earth and they encounter hostile GGA, the governing people, who fire a torpedo at the wormhole as they're going through it, closing the wormhole behind them. So now they're not going to be able to get back out. They encounter a pirate frigate and say, initiate self-destruct or surrender. Pirates make them promise to give their ship to Sweden and then they'll surrender. The ship is outfitted with jammers, which is why no one can hear from Earth. So Camille is the name of the new little alien that he hired to be the engineer. And she goes out in her spacesuit out into space and goes out on the outside of this frigate and disables all the jammers. So now they can hear from Earth. It's Iglax on the ship and Darius orders them to stand down and fly to him as he's heading to Earth. Darius gets a call with Gordon Ramsay and says basically nothing happened. He's sus. That's what I got from that phone call. Darius meets with the Chinese president. He thinks GGA and Iglax are the same. So the Chinese president, it's Ambassador Wang, thinks that the GGA and Iglax are basically, they want the same thing, they're governed by the same people, and Darius is like, no, you're wrong. And Wang's like, let me tell you some stuff. He explained the Minotaur genocide with facts about how the Minotaurs literally ate everything. They were called everivores. So they just devoured everything on the planet, so they had to be exterminated, basically. Darius tells Ambassador Wang that humans need the best government to declare independence from GGA and take control. Darius is going... So basically, he talked to Gordon. Gordon thinks he should do this. He wants to also talk to the Chinese emperor to see if maybe he can go ahead and take control. And he decides to have about 6 countries send their best pilot to him.
Yep.
So he gets one from America, one from Sweden, one from China, one from Russia. And then he gives them their own planes.
So he turns over the ship that surrendered. Their terms of surrender was that he would give the ship to Sweden. So he turns that ship over to them.
To Sweden?
To Sweden. So he takes it to Australia.
I thought he wasn't actually going to do that.
So he gives it to Sweden, and Sweden was to officially hand it over to China at that time. So he's giving it to China.
Okay.
But in a roundabout way. And basically what he wants out of it is it's to be reverse engineered, but by everybody. So it's open to all the countries, not just...
Oh, he's giving it to them for scientific study.
Correct.
Okay, that makes more sense now. So when Darius comes to the meeting where he brings his pilot representing his country, he also brings his AI named Amanda. And she's been put into a human body that was in a coma.
Yes.
And she's now a human AI walking around.
Cyborg.
She's extremely advanced, and according to Wong, she's been saving humanity.
Yes.
So, yay, Amanda. But we're kind of sus of Amanda. When she comes aboard, she disables 17.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're sus of her. That's Darius's AI. And she's like, she's a spy. So I disabled her. And she removed the tracking software that Rose had installed on her and then releases her after they tell her to let her go.
Yeah.
Darius meets the pilots that have been put forth from the nations. They head to the battle point and tell the station to surrender.
Surrender.
What station are they telling to surrender?
KDKA.
I don't know what that means.
WKRP.
What does that mean?
The Iglex still have a station there, or the GGA has a station there.
Oh, okay. So they're trying to free the world of alien control.
Yes.
Okay. They release a bunch of fighters and frigates, and the battle begins. But the station was a mirage. It was just like a big old hologram.
One of them was, yes.
So it was a distraction to get them all to go fight that, while these other fighters are going to come behind and just destroy them.
Yep.
And it was one of your favorite words. It was a ruse.
Ruse.
Yeah.
Ruse, that tells you.
So Darius's darling destroyer that he loves.
He loves this thing.
It's getting pounded. They hit the hole and one pilot is killed. Literally, the missile comes through and it just takes her head clean off. And Darius ends up using this in a little bit. He pushes it out of the hole and they go for it instead. And he uses it as a tactic to get some...
To find out where the borders are.
Yes, so he can shoot at them. And they can keep fighting even with the holes in the hole, he said. So they're about to get boarded. And Darius starts spacewalking.
Waterboarded or
they might waterboard them after they board. But no, people came and attached onto their destroyer and they're about to come inside and take over.
Gotcha.
Darius starts spacewalking outside the ship with Natasha's favorite guns to try to find the tether point from the attackers and kill the boarders. And 17 is like, he doesn't know how to do that. Don't let him do that. He and an alien fire at each other, and Darius's arm goes numb. What do you think that means?
Maybe he has neuropathy.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but likely not.
Could be diabetic neuropathy.
Well, it actually could be. You never. Let's see what happens. This is nervous. His suit announces to him, amputation complete, and he watches his arm float away from him in space.
I don't think it was diabetic neuropathy.
That was hardcore.
Yeah.
His suit's just like, oh, you're gonna die if I don't do this. Wow. He's like in this super stressful environment. He's just lost his arm watching it go away from him, and he's in shock. He's just like, what is going on? They keep battling, and he blacked out, basically. So they keep battling, but they end up taking over that space station.
I don't know.
Well, there's like one more thing he does right before he blacks out, but I didn't write it down.
What is it?
I don't know. I said I didn't write it down.
Oh, if you'd wrote it down, we'd have both known.
Yeah. Why didn't you write it down? You should be double.
I wasn't. I'm not. It's not my job to write it. I called out the book to be read. You do the writing.
All right. So this next part is cute, and this is the end. So if you're still here, you're epic, and you probably like sci-fi.
Probably.
So you should read this book. Okay. He wakes up to a doctor's voice. He has a mechanical left arm now, and a very pregnant Natasha walks in, and he's like,
What?
Yeah. She's pregnant with twins. It has been 10 months, and he's like, it's been 10 months since I've been in a coma. Whose babies are those?
So you're telling me he gets a bionic arm?
Mm-hmm.
That may come into play in one of our next videos.
Yes. That guy needs to go to space.
I know, right?
Doctors were able to actually use the sperm from him that he had already put in her body previous to the fight that they were in that one day. They were able to grab it, use it, and fertilize one of her eggs with it, so that she could go ahead and have one of his children.
Unfortunately, they made a mistake.
They didn't make a mistake.
They did make a mistake. How many eggs did they fertilize?
Well, I don't think that was a mistake.
Well,
like when you do IVF, you do like a bunch of them to see if one of them will take, right?
Yeah, how many took?
Well, 2. So she has a boy and a girl in there.
Boy and a girl.
So basically, he's sitting there. He just lost his arm in his mind. He doesn't realize the last 10 months, and now she's about to give birth to 2 of his children, and he didn't even know if he wanted to be like. Well, he knew he wanted to be exclusive with her, but they weren't engaged or. They were barely living together because they keep moving ships and stuff. And so now he's like, okay, we're having 2 babies. And she says, well, the doctors only gave you 3% chance to live.
Yeah.
And I just did what I had to have a family with you.
Yep. Would you do that?
I don't know how to answer that question. We already have children.
I know, but if we didn't have children... and I had a 3% chance to live, would you have my babies?
I don't think so. Because I already had 2 kids. If I didn't, I might.
So what you're saying is Natasha loves Darius more than you love me.
No, she thought to herself, if I'm ever going to have babies in this life, I want them with this man.
Oh, so I'm not the man that you want to have babies with. Gotcha. Sorry, Honor. Sorry, Joy.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Before I would have made that choice, I'd already been a single parent and knew how hard it was.
No, I agree.
Natasha didn't know how hard it was to be a single parent too before she decided to do that.
I totally agree with you there.
I guarantee you Darius wouldn't have done that.
No way.
Okay.
No. Well, first off, he couldn't carry them.
Well, not at this moment.
Mean, what are
he
they?
maybe
He's
could
gonna
in
have
the
him put in the slime on his back.
He maybe could in the future. You never know.
It's true.
Never say never.
That's true.
So now all of a sudden Darius
he has a bionic uterus.
I don't know. Now all of a sudden his bionic arm came equipped with a uterus.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So
that's not a bicep, that's my son.
No. All of a sudden he smells the sea, and he's like, oh. Because one of the things he and Natasha always talk about is going to the beach with babes.
Beach and babes.
And how he could do good, he could go fight, or he could take a vacation and go to beach with babes. So he's like, are we on the beach with babes?
Yeah. And
Natasha's yacht had come back to save them. It said yacht, so that's why I wrote that down.
Well, yeah, yacht is okay.
Natasha had bought a yacht?
Yacht. Yeah. So she has the stealth yacht.
So it is a yacht.
It's a yacht, but it's still like a.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
She had a boat.
You know what I'm saying.
So during the battle, when they saw that things were not going well, she had already like taken off and tried to like go.
Where'd she go?
She had just flown away to get some of the ships to follow her, right, away from the fight.
Well, and to get some of the people out.
Yeah.
Of the fight.
But then when she saw that things were going badly for Darius, she swooped back around. She rescued him. She got him on the boat, and then they all destroyed the space station and stuff.
Yes. Queen.
And they flew to Florida.
Yes.
And now
that's where every space-going person wants to go.
Well, they couldn't get out of the the solar system because the wormhole got closed.
Yeah, but still, I don't think I'd go to Florida. It's really muggy there.
Well, she goes, "We're in Florida," and he's like, "Really?" And so then she says, "We're at a private rehab island." So he thinks that they're somewhere out in the Florida Keys. Yeah. So Amanda's drones had actually gone into Darius's brain to help him not sustain brain damage from his death coma.
Yeah.
And so Natasha's like, "I was pretty sure you were going to come out a different person." But so far he seems the same.
You don't know.
Natasha and the crew got the destroyer back in fighting form, and they went back in at the station and got them to surrender. So she rescued him. They got the destroyer back ready 2 days later, went back in, and apparently without Darius, they're successful. So just get rid of Darius.
Well, so they did a blockade of the station.
Okay.
Is what they did. And eventually they had the station had to stand down.
Okay. Still, it seemed like without Darius, they were successful.
Well, it's because of Darius and his efforts that they were able to be successful.
Okay. They probably used his arm and like plugged some hole.
They did,
really
yeah.
So they got them to surrender. Amanda put them in prison and then started building multi-purpose frigates.
Multi-purpose frigates.
The multi-purpose room. Darius is worried about where his ships are, and Natasha says she's days away from giving birth, and she's worried about having 2 babies while he's going through PTSD. She's like, this is not great timing. Like, I'm really worried this is going to be too much for you.
I mean, when in life, though, do you get to pick when you have the traumatic days?
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
It's going to be rough for them.
Yeah.
But hopefully they can stick it out, not drive a wedge between them.
Yeah.
Man, I really care about these people.
I'm kind of invested, yeah.
So they talk about the Iglak's suspicious behavior. They kind of think the Iglaks are super sus and GGA is super sus, and that stealth freighter that they don't know what was doing the mining.
Is it super sus too?
They're super sus. They're talking about all the sus stuff, and then the end.
Yeah.
It just goes, the end.
Yeah. It does. It literally says the end.
Yeah.
And that is the end.
Yeah. And then you get a note from the author, and he's like, I hope you really liked this book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
He
if you
seemed like a nice dude.
leave a review. And
Yeah, which I didn't.
I did not either yet.
Yeah.
I might. Yeah. I mean, this is a review.
You might say, please. Yeah, you could just link this video.
Yeah.
You could say, please write a next episode because
a
next book.
We just want one more chapter. That's all we want. Just one more chapter.
I want to know about the children. No, I did really like this. I would read the next in the series, but there was not a next in the series.
Why is that?
So I guess we shan't. Because it just came out last month.
That's right. The author did note that he's definitely considering more. Mm-hmm. That was in that end credit scene. I think to be honest with you, that he was a fabulous writer.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed everything he did there. I'm hoping he didn't just put a plot into ChatGPT and out comes Darius.
He had Amanda write it up.
Yeah. But it was a fun read. Like I said, I was laughing through like at least the first half of the book. But I
Tim was literally laughing out loud. It didn't do that to me, but it definitely entertained me.
Yeah.
So.
And I think this is literally one of the funnest books I've read in. I can't even remember.
You liked it better than the other spacey ones.
I did. It was more fun. The main character was a lot more down to earth. A lot of the books I read, the captain is just real stick to the rules
you read a
or
lot of
breaking the
older
rules,
stuff.
and yeah, I do.
So this was fun to have it be like a lot of current references.
There were a lot of current references. There was the Putin references. There was what was the other one?
I don't think they had a COVID reference, did they?
I don't remember if they did or not, but I know there was several things out of like the recent news in the past year or two that were in this book, and I thought that's fun. So,
well, good pick, Tim. How did you actually find this? Did you Google like new sci-fi?
I was actually on the Audible app, and I was looking at the the sci-fi section, and I was just scrolling down through, and it kind of caught my eye by the title, and so I went in to read more on it, and then I grabbed the sample, and I enjoyed what I heard.
The sample caught ya.
It did, and
cool.
then I read more.
This book does have two narrators. There's a male and a female.
There is.
Her voices are always kind of strange in my opinion, but I was also listening at 1.5 speed.
They were strange at 1.2 or 1 speed as well. So it was a little off-putting at first, but at least it gave you the notion that you weren't listening to his voice.
I really dislike when men do female voices.
Natasha's voice for me, though, was really bizarre.
Yeah. Well, she was doing a Russian accent the whole time, and it sounded like the mix between a Russian accent and a computer.
Yeah.
It was a mix between 17 and what you think of as like a Russian operative.
And the girl voice was great for 17.
For Julia.
For Rose. You know, it's just when it came down to Natasha.
Yeah. But, hey.
So literally that was the only downside to this book for me.
Okay.
I would definitely read more.
Yeah, I didn't have a downside. My only downside was like the big cliffhangers they left open.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, yeah, you gotta write the next one.
Yeah. So did your opinion change from any point in the book?
I mean, I liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah. Okay.
And I would read more things by this author.
Okay.
Yeah. What scene did I like the best? I thought I wrote down which was my favorite part, but I can't remember. I didn't read it just now. What was your favorite scene?
You know, there were a few actually. I think when he first gets that spaceship, not the 17, but the other one, and he's zipping around, and you know he's feeling indestructible, and there's missiles flying everywhere, and he's just like a cowboy at that point, you know. And I really enjoyed that.
Oh, that's good.
The other one that was good for me too was him waking up with the bionic arm and everything, and you know, it was a really nice, sweet, touching kind of reunion there.
Yeah. I liked basically all the funny parts.
Yeah. Well, that's most of the book.
Debatable.
Well.
Lighthearted. Most of the book was lighthearted, not necessarily funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up. So let us know in the comments below. I will be surprised if any of you have already read this.
Yeah, because it literally came out last month.
But perhaps they have, and they're just looking to see what our opinions are on it. But did we entice you? Let us know in the comments below if you're thinking about reading this author or this book. I definitely enjoyed it.
I would definitely recommend this book. I would recommend the author as well because it was a really fun read.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to be it for today. Let us know if there's a certain movie or book that you want us to read. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. If you aren't already, please do so. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. It helps out our channel.
And don't forget, Team Zebadextra wins again.
Let us know in the comments. Are you Team Zebadextra or Team Phebo? Let us know. All right. Thanks for being with me for this video today.
Absolutely.
Thanks for picking a winner. Good job. Yeah.
Careful. Picking a winner has a different connotation where I'm from.
Well, I'm from space, so.
Well, that's true. Women are from Mars.
No.
No, they're from Venus.
Alright, guys, so we'll see you next time. Have a great rest of your day and take care.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great one.